Hello, sixth graders, and welcome back to Mrs. Houck's math class. We started lesson 7 yesterday, and we are actually going to go ahead and complete that today and then fill in an exit ticket. So let's kind of see if we can remember how to do the problems. Let's start with example number 2. It says, Henry, Janan, and Clark are playing a card game. The object of the game is to finish with the most points. The scores at the end of the game are Henry had -7, Janan had 0, and Clark had -5. Who won the game? Who came in last place? Use a number line model and explain how you arrived at your answer. Okay, so if you recall from yesterday, we are going to do the read, draw, and write. So we read the problem. Now we are going to draw our number line. So let's go ahead and draw our number line. Okay, like so. We notice we have the integers -7, we have 0 and 5. So we want to make sure we get those numbers on there. Looks like to me, since all of these are negatives, I'm going to put 0 over here to the right side, and then I'm going to do -1, -2, and I'm going to try and get all the way to -7. I might have to extend my number line, it looks like. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do -6 and -7. Okay, so here's Henry. He's right here at -7. Janan is here at 0, and Clark is -5. Okay, so you can see I'm making the number line. I have the numbers listed now in order from least to greatest. -7 is the least, then comes -5, and finally 0 is the larger one. So when it says, who won the game? Who won the game? The object of the game is to finish with the most points. Well, this is the biggest number, 0, so Janan won the game. The next question then that we need to answer, it says, is who came in last place? Well, last place would be the person with the lowest score, which would be -7, which is Henry. So we're going to say that Henry was in last place. Oopsie. Okay, if you need to pause the screen in order to get that written down, please do so. Okay, so you might have noticed I kind of paused the video myself. So we have that Janan won the game. Okay, most points of 0. Henry was in last place because he had the least score of -7. And it kind of asked us to kind of explain how we arrived at this answer. Well, we arrived at this answer because we drew a number line, and we knew that the -7 was furthest to the left for our last place, and then 0 is furthest to the right. So I kind of tried to write the answer out so that I can kind of help me study a little bit for if I need it for my exit ticket. So I ordered the numbers on a number line and found -7 to be the furthest to the left, right here, and 0 was the furthest to the right. Okay, so if you would like to pause your video so that you can get this sentence written down, please do so, because it might help you when answering questions on an exit ticket. Okay, so we're going to do things just a little bit different this time. Let me go ahead and read the problem to you first. It says, for each problem, order the rational numbers from least to greatest, by first reading the problem, then drawing a number line diagram, and finally explaining your answer. What I would like for you to do is I would like for you to pause the video. We've already done the reading. What I would like for you to do is I would like for you to pause the video, and I would like for you to make a number line, and I would like for you to see if you can get those integers on it, and then make a list of the numbers from least to greatest. Okay, and then we're going to find out who won and who came in last place. So it's very similar to the problem we just did. So go ahead and pause the video so that you can try and do it on your own first. Okay, so here's my number line. I made my number line. I plotted -1, -2, and -4. If I put the numbers in order from least to greatest, starting here, -4, -2, -1. Okay, now remember, we're trying to find out who won the game. So who had the most points? Well, the most points was -1, and that was Clark. So we would say Clark won the game. And then the second question wants to know, and who came in last place? Well, last place would be the person who had the lowest score of -4, and that would be Henry. So we'll write Henry came in last place. Okay, now if I would want you to explain my answer, you would say, tell me something that you drew a number line and you put the integers in order from least to greatest and found that Clark won the game because -1 was the furthest to the right. Henry came in last place because his score was furthest to the left. Okay? All right, let's go down to the next problem, please. Problem number 6 says, represent each of the following elevations using a rational number. Then write the numbers from least to greatest. All right, so we're going to have to use a rational number for each one of these. So let's read them first. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at here we have Cayuga Lake. It says 122 meters above sea level. The word above helps me know that that's going to be a positive, so I want to go ahead and write the integer here so I can get that down. I'm going to look at Mount Marcy. Mount Marcy is 1,629 meters above sea level. Above is my hint to let me know that this is once again a positive number. And then we have New York Stock Exchange Vault is 15 and 24 meters below sea level. Below is my hint to know that it is a negative number. So I have here, I represent each of the following elevations using the number. Now we're going to order them from least to greatest. From least to greatest. Well, I know that negative numbers are smaller, according to this number line up here. The only negative number I have is this one first, so I'm going to put negative 15 and 24 Then I have to find out which one of these two is the next one that's the smallest. Is it 122 or 1,629? Well, 122 is smaller than 1,629. So I have the three numbers listed in order from least to greatest. Okay, so for the next part of my lesson, I'm going to kind of ask you to just kind of look and follow along for a second, and it might be helpful for you to pay attention because I think something like this might be on one of your homework problems. Okay, so I have these dots here, this pink and blue. I'm going to say that pink is going to go here for 8, and blue I'm going to put at 5. Okay, so there's my two spots. Now, by looking at those two, if I put these two numbers in order from least to greatest, which one's the smallest number? Well, 5 is obviously the smallest number because it's on the left side, and 8 is larger. But what if I took these two dots and then I put them over here on their opposites? So, for example, the opposite of 5 is -5. The opposite of 8 is -8. Now, let's look at these two. Which number is smaller? Is it -8 or -5? Remember, we're only looking at this side. Well, -8 is smaller. Why? Because it's furthest to the left. So on this side, -8 would be smaller, and then -5 would be larger. It's closer to 0 than -8. Look at this. Interesting. -8 is smaller than -5. But +5 is smaller than -8. Looks like it's kind of the opposites. Well, let's try another one. Let's say I'm going to put a dot at -2. And let's put another one at -6. Okay, so let's look at these two dots. Which number is smaller? Well, negative 6 is smaller. It's furthest to the left. So negative 6 is smaller than negative 2. Let's look at their opposites. The opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. And the opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. All right. Well, now let's look at these two dots. Let's put them in order from least to greatest. The smallest number is 2. And the larger number is 6. So these are in order. But if you notice, when I look at the opposites, they're in opposite order. So when I look at two numbers and then I look over at their opposites, they kind of have changed or in an opposite order. Okay, you might want to write down the two examples we have here. Okay, so write those down for me. Okay, so we have finished with today's math class. You may go ahead and open up your Google form and go ahead and answer those questions. Please make sure that you answer the last question with complete sentences, kind of stating your opinion and how you know the answer is correct. You will understand what I'm saying once you open that form. I will see you all tomorrow.